Hello everybody, my name is XKMosses0 and welcome to a video I didn't want to make, but kinda have to. Joining you here is my boy Dragold456.
Hey everyone, this is Dragon. I'm one of the voice actors and one of the script writers, and this is gonna be a pretty iffy topic, if I may be frank.
Yes, so by the title of this title, you guys can already see that we have an explanation of why me and Dragold and certain others really do not appreciate SMGP.
This
has been something that's been going on for at least a few years now. And we honestly want this to discontinue, but unfortunately SMGP wants it to continue on. Despite the fact he might comment on this beeping video and say he really does want to have this discontinue, but he still continues anyway. Yeah, it's a lie on his proper end.
We should have did this earlier, but we were afraid of how he would make us look, and now I think it's time that we
properly just give you all the details. Yeah. So alright, so let's begin on how the topic is going. So some of you guys have remembered the fact that I did make a video on Sammy, the one girl that kept saying the N-word towards a lot of people for no apparent reason. SMGP was texting Sammy about what she was doing. Sammy was falsely accusing Chris/SMGP of being a homosexual.
Well, it's not really like accusing, it's more or less insulting him. It's like, sure, she could be, but if she were to do that by her terms, it would be more like a slur, if anything, so she was more or less just insulting him by calling him gay.
And then when SMGP decides to respond to that, he responds to her saying that he's homophobic. Here's the screenshot. I can understand that he is trying to defend himself during that situation at the time, but the fact that he responds with himself saying he's homophobic, that can offend a lot of people.
I understand that no one likes having their sexuality challenged or questioned, and I very much understand that. It's just part of what makes us human, but the issue for me is that saying you're homophobic versus saying you're not gay is two different things. Saying you're homophobic means you don't like gay people, you don't respect them, you don't want anything to do with them. It's more of an insult towards gay people. Versus saying that you're not gay just means you're not gay.
That is true.
Granted, you can still not be gay and still gay people, but it's all about context. It's really all about context, and with his context, it sounded very offensive and very malice-driven.
He's also showing the LGBT community that he's heavily against it.
Well, I don't my issue. My thing is again. Well, I'll be honest with you. He technically doesn't have to like gay people, but they also don't have to like him back. And the other thing is that to an extent, you don't have to like them. You can accept them,
but you don't have
and
to
you can tolerate them. But you technically don't have to like them. I don't think that's something he legitimately understands.
Yeah. Because what it looks like in the screenshot that we already showed, it doesn't seem like he's trying to offend the community in any way, but it does look like anyone that's part of the community would get offended easily with it.
But that's what we originally thought, and then it was one of the things he did say later on that kind of made us
more upset.
Yeah. So in the next screenshot, when I asked him a question, I asked him, what do you have against gay people? And he says, I think gay people are weird. So, my issue is that everyone's weird, technically. Some way, somehow, someone's weird to another person. No one's really, quote-unquote, normal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, technically, there are norms, but at the same time, norms doesn't really make someone normal. Norms are kind of just a standard people follow. The other thing is that you're kind of coming off extremely offensive by just saying, hey, I think you're weird just because of your sexuality. Sexuality doesn't really matter, if I'm being honest with you. We're still all people on this planet. We all still should care about each other.
We're all human beings. All straight people are human beings. Non-binaries are human beings. gays, lesbians, bisexuals, we're all human
beings. Even if you have a preferred sexuality compared to us, that doesn't make you any less human than we are. And I think that's just a part of life that I don't think SMGP really understands. Like, regardless of where you come from, you're still human. I mean, you can still be disrespectful. You could be like despicable at the day, but at the end of the day, you're still human. At the end of the day, it's a case of like you don't really just not like someone only because of, well, hey, they're different from me. Mm-hmm. Everyone's different from each other. No one's really the same. Every person has something different about them, and like I said, it's something he doesn't really see.
Mm-hmm. Here's the next topic of SMGP. So, do you guys remember the fact how he was involved with the Yakuza Kiwami dub with me, Dragold, and my ex-girlfriend, and also many others that helped out? Let's just say he has not done a very good job at all when he worked with us.
Ah, Kiru-san, I hope we haven't caused you any trouble. Tomorrow! Please give me until tomorrow. I beg of you. I'm sorry. Can't you make an exception? Are you going to kill me? Isn't the Dojima family known for resorting to murder during collections? If you can't pay, you get made into an example. That's what everyone says. I'm telling you, I don't have your money. So, this is my only choice. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
And we'll discuss it right now. So basically, during the time of the production, I was trying to assign characters to people, and every single time I try to assign him a character, he does tend to be fine with it. And then once I tell him how many lines the character has, he gets worried or surprised, and then he begs me to change out into a different character. Here's the screenshot. Look, I can understand that you are not really happy with the character you are assigned with, but once you are assigned with a character, you can't really change out unless the person that's in charge of the project deems you not fitting of the character, or the person in charge decides to switch you out with someone else. But you can't just ask every single time. He was only switching out because he wanted to have the less amount of lines to work on, which doesn't make any sense. If you're wanting to become a voice actor, you have to deal with the heavy amount of scripting that the director or the scriptwriter gives you.
I very much agree with that. Like, I'll be honest with you, we kind of do take ourselves a little too seriously. Not that we shouldn't, but I don't really think we're at that point where we should, be acting like we're a professional business, but that's besides the point. The issue is that even though he had a lot of lines, we did try to be understanding. We tried to give him help. We said that, would you like us to help you go over your lines? Would you like to join us on the server? We could talk about how you should how you should act out your character. We've tried so many things to help him out, but I don't think he legitimately sees that. I think he's more or less scared that we're going to yell at him, but we tried being more relaxed about it, and I don't think he legitimately cares. And that's just not even seen through what he did with the Yakuza series. King, let's be honest, I think him just, changing the characters all the time, it's only half of the problem with him as a voice actor or him a part of our group. It's also a case of him also dealing with voice acting in your videos, correct?
That is correct. Let's not forget about all the voice acting he has done. There has been many videos that he was in, and his voice acting was on spot and did really well. But after the past few years have passed, he decided to deteriorate his own voice acting intentionally.
Alright, just be careful. Oh hey, 8, what's up? Yeah, Dominic the Inkling. What are you doing here, King? I can't go out, I'm scared. Come on, Aid, you know where he is, just tell us. Tower to airfield, skyscraper. Please hold takeoff. More passengers incoming.
Wait, is that SGP on the line? Hold on, give me them headphones. Yo, SGP, we gonna start our voice acting properly, you stupid ass mother.
Yeah, what Drago said. Please start acting right, please.
I'll deal with you all later. Airline skyscraper, you're clear for take.
I'll be honest with you, I did think SMGP had a lot of potential, and he did seem to have a passion and generally enjoyed when he was voice acting. While we do know that he may have had a struggle. At the same time, after I've seen him in his own videos, it seems that there's a great amount of more emphasis of his voice acting being put into his own videos rather than ours.
Well, if it isn't Mario, I will destroy you, Mario, and I will take over the entire kingdom. Yeah, my daddy's gonna take over the entire kingdom. Alright, Luigi, we need to find a way to stop Bowser. But how? I mean, like, he's really strong, and I couldn't even take him on in in my mansion. What are you talking about? You did. Oh, okay. Well, bring it on. Hey, yeah. Ow, ow. Yeah.
Hello there, Sonic. I'm so glad we finally meet you for the first time.
What the? You're the two that's in my head. How are you two here?
Because we can teleport, and when Halloween comes, we are going to summon an evil enemy that you defeated once in your yellow super form thingy.
Well, yes, technically it's not his channel, so he probably doesn't care as much. At the same time, we are generally trying to help him. Not to mention, King generally cares about him not only as his voice, not only as a director, but also as a friend. And he even agreed to help him. We can't just have you give us half-ass voice lines, and you say you want to help us, but you're not really showing that you want to help us.
Yep.
And that's my main issue. We're not saying you don't completely care. You care to an extent, but you're not really showing you care. You may say you do, but your actions hold more weight than your words.
Should we talk about his diet?
Oh, yes, his diet. Let's be honest. It's completely abysmal. I'm not saying his diet's completely awful, but he kind of seems like he overeats a bit. Don't you think?
Yeah.
So the thing about SMGP's diet is, it's not the fact that it's what he's eating, it's most likely how much he's eating, but not working off. For example, it's like how Wings of Redemption, even after getting a surgery to lose weight, he still made that weight back because of how much he's been eating and not working out. The thing is that people like SMGP usually would need to work out in order to, maintain at least a good body. While, yes, he'll still probably get big, he'll still at least be more healthy and more fit, so it wouldn't be as bad. Yeah. And oh boy, the amount he was eating and what he was eating lead to a bad situation, wouldn't you say?
Yes. So basically, we try to help SMGP with better health options to eat with food, and also better food choices to help him out to lower down his health issues. And sometimes when we try, his parents like to feed him the opposite of what he needs.
That is very much true. He kind of lets it, even though his parents did find out about his issues, I don't think they really took an initiative to really help him. I think they probably thought it was oh, it's not that bad. You'll still live. You're young. But that's not the case. Even young people can die at a certain age, and that's something I don't really think can be seen through the way he kind of interacts with his parents. While he does have issues, it doesn't seem like their family is really taking initiative to show that they care about those issues and really show that they care about him. And I think that's another thing that really bothers me, is that he kind of lets his parents control his life.
Yeah.
I think another issue that I really think that should be talked about is how offensive he is towards certain groups of people. For instance,
the update with Minecraft, how they had to change their ore because of some people that were colorblind.
I think it's nice that Minecraft is accommodating for people who do have those problems. I'll admit that. Good job to you, team. Mojang team. You guys did an amazing job. I salute you.
I salute them too. But once SNGP heard the news, that's when tables turned towards his own eyes. So here's the screenshot of him talking about him getting upset about Minecraft updating their stuff. Because people that are colorblind, they couldn't tell the difference between a ruby or redstone in the game. I mean, which is understandable.
People who are colorblind don't really have the same field of vision as we do. Like, they may see colors as something else, and it's not anything to be ashamed of. It's okay to have problems like that. But for SMGP, he sees it as a issue, as he thinks, oh, now we have to change all the ores. This is so annoying. They're trying to accommodate for almost everyone in the community. They're trying to make Minecraft as easy for people as possible, and that something like colorblindness can affect gameplay. It can trick it tricks you into thinking it may be like one or maybe something else when it's really not, and it could possibly affect you from progressing further, or it couldn't, or just stopping progress altogether.
And let's not forget, during the time when Chris was extremely upset about the fact they changed it because of people being colorblind, he actually just straight up admitted to me that he's willing to beat up the person that told Mojang that he's colorblind and couldn't tell the difference.
That is an absolutely terrible thing to do. People do not do that. That's
really bad. And also, there's another thing that we should discuss that's also in connection with it. Do you guys remember voice acting director Spazity Art? She is actually colorblind herself.
It's like, I think he probably felt extremely stupid when he found out that Spazity was colorblind. Granted, he didn't really say anything, but at the same time, that's still something you should not say altogether anyway. Like, beating up a colorblind person does not solve anything. It doesn't do anything for you. Like, it just promotes the fact that you're being unnecessarily aggressive towards a group of people just because they have issues. Like,
and it's something that they're born with. You can't really control that.
Exactly.
But in SMGP's world, he thinks beating up colorblind people will be the best thing and also solve every issue and have Mojang resort back to the original way of how Minecraft ores were.
The thing is that like redesigning the way ores look does not really make that big of a gameplay difference. It really doesn't. If anything, it kind of helps a little bit because now you can more or less define more ores more easily. If anything, it was more of a positive gameplay change than a negative one. I think for him, he chooses to take it negatively because he thinks it's not that great or it's not that good of a decision. He wants things to be the same, but the thing I think he really needs to think about is that eventually things have to change. Nothing can ever stay the same. It's a part of life. Things have to change in order for progression to happen. But I think for Chris is that I think he doesn't really understand how to progress. And
even if he does, he's most likely not going to progress anytime soon.
Right.
And let's not forget about the times when he annoyed me and Dragold.
Oh Lord.
Let's begin with Christmas time, 2021. So you guys remember, you guys always ask your parents what you usually want. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't entirely get what you want, but you still appreciate your parents. Well, let's just say SMGP decides to be extremely petty about it. Let me tell you all exactly why I say he's petty with his parents. He was wanting me or his own parents to get him a $500 Steam card just to purchase 2 games, Halo Infinite, and let's not forget, he also wants to get Halo Master Chief Collection. Halo Master Chief Collection is $60, and just as Halo Infinite, it's also $60. So if you add that together, that is $120 in total. So what's the remaining $380 supposed to be? You can just... Well, here's a thing you could do, SMGP. You could just get a $100 Steam card and possibly just get like $20 to $30 out of it and could just spend all that much and you'll be fine. But the fact he's asking for a $500 Steam card is ridiculous.
My issue is that, again, he's now at a stage where he's not going to get everything he wants. And if anything, I think a job would be good for him in order to actually get the things he wants. Like, he can't keep relying on his parents for the rest of his life. That's not how life works. I mean, sure, some people live with their parents, but at the same time, those people still have jobs as well. And I think that's the other thing. He doesn't really understand the value of money. I mean, like, yes, he understands that things are expensive, but I don't think he really knows how to earn things since he is a middle child, so his parents probably give to everything he actually wanted.
Despite the fact he is in college, he still acts like this.
And I think that's another thing I have to bring up. I don't know if people heard, but he didn't go to college, or he didn't sign up for college by himself. He let his parents sign for him.
He straight up admitted it towards me and Dragold.
I would like to say, for those who are in college, you know how big of a step this is in people's lives. Like, they're no longer in school. They have more higher standards to really uphold if they're going to be in college. Like, you can't really be late. You have to make sure more assignments get turned on time. Like, you have to be on that grind in order to really pass. I mean, like, I'm not saying you should be a workaholic. You should work your ass off every day, night, and not sleep. But you understand that there's a level of responsibility added to being in college.
Yes.
And I think that's something SMP doesn't understand. He doesn't really understand how much weight it holds to really go to college. Like, I think he kind of sees this more or less just another thing he has to do. Not to mention, many people would love for their parents to pay for them to go to college. Like, not many people get to go to college because they're scared of how much debt they will be in, how much it will cost in order to get a dorm room, how much money they got to pay for food, if they're going to be able to work a job, because of their schedules. College is a commitment. It's a really hard commitment.
Yeah, but SMGP doesn't really know a lot. Let's just say he will most likely continue acting like a child all the time. The next topic we also like to discuss is the fact how we tell him that we no longer want to talk to him again. After the times of all the BS me and Dragon have put up, our other buddy in my Discord server, Crispy, he's also gotten annoyed of SMGP as well. We decided to kick him out of the server for good, not Crispy, SMGP. And then we let him come back a few different times, and he continues to act up no matter what. He claims to be a nice person every single time when he decides to screw himself over.
I think there's also the problem of, let's just say, I like to call this me versus him scenario. A lot of the times we and him talk, it's me and him clashing about something, whether it be about games or ideologies, but I think the most times we ever clashed was when it comes to me being really critical towards him. Now, I'll be honest with you, I am pretty critical. I'm kind of an asshole, if I'm being fair, but I'm not always trying to be critical. I'm still trying to at least be somewhat more respectful towards people, but the problem with me and SMGP is that SMGP doesn't really understand that.
He intentionally tries to make it hard for Dragold.
One of the things he kind of does is that whenever, there's an issue, kind of lean on King for too much. And I usually tell King, don't give in to him. He's doing too much. It's not something you want to waste your time with. But I think what SMGP doesn't get is that whenever he gets into a bad situation, he relies on King. King is literally stepping in to defend him.
But once I start defending SMGP and the server members start attacking me, showing me all the evidence, and then once they show me what Chris has done, I start to turn, I look at him, and then he's just gone.
He doesn't really know how to take responsibility for his actions. I think that's something he needs to work on. He can't just keep running away whenever he gets into a hard situation.
He really
that's not how you live life. You have to remember, you sometimes have to tackle things head on. Yes, it'll be hard, but it has to happen at some points. You can't just keep running away out of fear.
If you're requesting help from people, you gotta step up with you gotta step yourself up with the person that's helping you too. You can't just let them rely on everything.
Correct. And SMGP is I think he sees me more or less just as an enemy. He didn't really see me as a friend. I tried to help him. I was helping him with his diet by giving him more healthy alternatives to what he could be eating. I wasn't trying to, make him go blue-balled. I didn't want, because at that point he's going to want to give more into his unhealthy diet, and that's just going to help lead him into the grave, if I'm being perfectly honest. But I don't think he understands that. I think he more or less sees that as me just being completely negative towards him.
But every single time when Drago tries to help him, he always sees it as a quote-unquote threat when in reality, it's just Drago trying to actually help him. Sometimes Smgp would try to do the most stupidest things ever just to try to defend himself. And let's not forget about the time when he quote-unquote claimed that you were being bad and said that he's gonna report me to an admin of SMG4's Discord server and also report you, even though you were not in the server at the time, but I was.
The thing is about that situation is that I didn't really do anything to him. I mean, yes, I was negatively, like, commenting on him. Like, I will be honest, I was insulting him, but the thing is that I didn't actively hurt him in a way, like, I wasn't, like, sexually assaulting him or anything like that. It was more or less, I just got tired of his shit. Like, straight up, I just got tired of it. I don't really think he was at first inherently a bad person. I mean, from what we hear from him, it seems like he kind of just felt lonely, and that's kind of sad.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I don't forgive what he's done, and I don't appreciate what he's done to us. Like, it's like pretty toxic, if I'm being fair.
It's been toxic. It's been stupid. It's been retarded. It's been completely BS. And it's been old.
And that brings me up to a point that I don't really like to say. I'll be honest with you, I didn't think he was that stupid, but he's dumb. He's extremely dumb.
I'm not proud to admit this, but I gotta agree.
Like, I don't think he's completely brain dead, but he doesn't really understand the fact that his actions have consequences, or what he says actively hurts people. I get at some points he's not trying to, like, hurt anyone, but he needs to know that what he says does, like, affect the people around him. SCGP problem is that he wants to come off as a nice guy, but there's so many things that does, like, even that he tries to make look cool, but isn't. Like, he wants to be cool with people, but he's pretty negative towards a specific group of people. Like, he wants to come off as a nice guy, but he makes it impossible for him to be, like, for you to be nice to him. Like, it's like he wants to do one thing, but doesn't at the same time, and I think that's one of the things that's holding him back. Like, you can't be two things at the same time. Like, you kind of have to be your own person in a way. While I do think there's qualities you can change about yourself, you can't force them onto, like, you can't just force it. That's not how life works.
He always tries to force it.
I don't know if King still has the video, but there was this case where SNCP literally said he wants to keep his childhood innocence.
Unfortunately, I do not.
Unfortunately, we do not, but
we do
about that.
But fortunately, we do have another recorded footage. I recorded his voice, about a few months ago. Here it is. Regardless, I still don't understand your purpose of showing up.
Because, like, you seemed like you were your old self back then before we met. Like, when you were streaming.
You know, me and have been someone monitoring you.
What?
We've been noticing how you've been around certain people and certain YouTubers.
Yeah, but I'm really not talking to them anymore, so.
By the seams of all the stuff we witnessed, we didn't even see one single change.
Also, why were you doing that? That's kind of a bit creepy, though.
Not exactly creepy if the person looking at you is younger.
Oh, that's kind of, like, terrifying.
You said it's what?
It's terrifying.
Not exactly terrifying. But
well, if you really think about it, it's terrifying the fact you still can't take a hint.
And the fact you claim NSFW to be terrifying, yet you masturbate to certain amounts of it.
No. Well, look, I kind of turned around to that part, so.
I don't see a difference.
I don't see a difference either.
Well, look, I just still find that a bit weird and creepy that you're monitoring me.
Well, considering that you didn't give us any reason to trust you in the past, what do you expect us to do? You're really the pettiest person I've ever met. You literally said to me that if I don't apologize to you, you're gonna get kicked from a server that I'm not a part of. You used them as leverage in order to get an apology from me.
And let's not forget about the fact how you requested to get 3 games, and those games turned out to be Sonic Adventures 1 and 2, and Halo Master Chief Collection on Steam for about $100, and you requested a $500 Steam card from both me and your parents. Where's that other $400 gonna go? You could have just asked for a normal $100 Steam card, or add a little extras just in case if there's taxes, and then you could have gotten those games easier that way. What's the purpose of adding those $400 for?
Like maybe that was because maybe I could buy like a different game. Maybe I could have bought a Halo Reach or something.
You cannot just get Halo Reach by itself on Steam. It's in Master Chief Collection.
Well, I could have gotten maybe a different game, like maybe I guess actually no, I'm not gonna say that game.
No, just say
it. Fall Guys.
Fall Guys.
Yeah, but I decided it wasn't worth it. I decided to wait until it was released on Switch, which I have.
You're not coming back. That's just a straight point. You're not coming back. We don't want to talk to you anymore. We don't want anything to do with you. We're not friends.
Yeah, I'm well aware of that, numbnut.
If you're well,
if you're
well aware of it, then why come back?
Because I just wanted to see, like, if
no. You came back because you wanted to actually see if we would accept you. Like, no, we still don't want anything to do with you. Literally said to you, like, we don't want anything to do with you. We literally said to you, bye, don't talk to us, never come back, and you still came back, trying to act pitiful just so we can be friends with you again. No. We don't want anything to do with you. Why can't you get that through your dumb fat skull?
Because sometimes I don't think straight, numbnut.
You want to continue trash talking?
Sorry, it's just I have a huge ass temper.
It's just excuse over excuse over excuse every single time, Chris.
You only ever do whenever you do something wrong, you come up with the excuse of why you think it's still fine. It's not fine.
Fine, okay, this time for real, I won't bother you guys. I swear.
Then leave.
Then leave.
Don't talk to us anymore.
Hey,
Beep dummy! I swear to God.
Here's the thing about that. While I do think it's nice to keep your childhood, you can't stay a child forever. You have to eventually grow up because, well, I mean, how are you gonna go through life acting like a kid? Like, if you're in the mindset of a kid, that's not really gonna help you in the adult world. There's certain things you have to tackle through an adult perspective, like, violence, struggles, how do you deal with this situation maturely, how to deal with these kind of people. Like, you can't think of this, like, from a child's perspective. You can't just say, ew, that's bad, ew, that's wrong. You have to be more mature about it. It's like, that's not really I really don't like this. Yeah. I think he just really lacks that maturity to really understand what he's doing or what he's saying. He doesn't really comprehend why what he's saying is, or why what he's saying is wrong. It's just he says it either to look cool, or he says it because he's angry. Like, he needs to remember that he needs to be more mature about it. He can't think of it. He can't just say things and expect to get away with it. He's gonna be punished for it, and I hope he eventually learns that. Because I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he changed at all. But if he did change, SMGP, I'm glad you finally understand. Just know that if you understand why we were mean to you, I'm glad that you moved on. But if you didn't, listen, we don't hate you. We cared about you a lot.
You decided to put yourself in the grave, not us.
I'm pretty upset the fact that I made this video. Like, I don't like having to slander someone like you, but you didn't make it easy for us. You played the victim
and never took responsibility for your own actions.
You threatened to get King kicked from a server because you didn't like what I said. You continuously made me look like the villain, even though you were the one who started the mess in the first place. Like, you've done so much that makes you not really nice to be around. You kind of just been pretty toxic and pretty, you've pretty much been a bad friend. You've hurt all of us, and I don't really want anything to do with you anymore. And I hope me and King can really put this to rest with this video.
And if he continues to act up, or, tries to get people to respond to this, then we'll have to make a response video. Just one response video, and that'll be it.
We are trying to move on. The reason part of why I'm glad that me and King are working on new videos as I feel like this is now a chance for us to move on from that past, or just our past of bad relationships in general. Like, we've had many bad relationships with people in our group before, correct?
Yes.
And the idea is for us to really move on and sail on to a new chapter of King's YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So, what do you think?
I think we're done here.
Thank you for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Hopefully we don't need to discuss this topic again, but We'll see what happens. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.
See you later.